Do you realize that there are forces in this world that are invisible to the human eye, yet their influence can shape the course of your life without you even knowing? Many people walk through life oblivious to the spiritual currents that are at work around them. Today, I want to speak on a subject that is serious, critical, and urgent, because it concerns the very foundation of your destiny. And I say this with a weight in my heart. There are those who have been initiated into powers they do not fully understand. Powers that can subtly manipulate their thoughts, their behaviors, their very lives. I want to begin by asking you a question. How do you know who you are in the spiritual realm? How do you know what forces you have allowed into your life, willingly or unknowingly? Some people, even children, are exposed to influences early in life that shape their future in ways they cannot see. Witches, sorcerers, and practitioners of dark arts are not always obvious. They can operate through traditions, through family habits, and even through your own environment. The shocking truth is that some have been initiated into witchcraft without knowing it, without understanding what it means. You see, initiation is not always a ceremony with chanting and candles. Sometimes it is subtle. It comes in the form of a promise, a gift, a special protection, or a secret that you are asked to keep. And the danger is that the person giving you this, perhaps even someone you trust, has a hidden agenda. Once you are initiated, even unknowingly, your spiritual alignment begins to shift. You might start noticing things about yourself that are unusual. Maybe a sudden interest in dark practices or a fascination with things that should not attract you. Perhaps you start having dreams that are strange, repetitive, and haunting. Listen carefully. One of the most dangerous signs that someone has been initiated into witchcraft is a shift in personal morality. If you notice that you are beginning to accept behavior that you once condemned, if you find yourself drawn to manipulation, deceit, or cruelty, this is a warning signal. These are not just coincidences. These are indicators that spiritual forces are shaping your character. Another sign is the unusual influence over your relationships. Do you find it difficult to maintain normal friendships? Do you notice that you attract people who encourage negative behavior, or that your peers seem to have power over you that they should not? This is a classic indicator. Children, listen carefully. You are most vulnerable in this stage of life because your identity is still forming. If someone introduces you to rituals, strange games, or symbols that you cannot understand, it is not harmless. That fun is often a gateway, a door you cannot close once it is opened. You may also notice physical and emotional changes, unexplained fatigue, nightmares, mood swings, and even sicknesses that medical explanations cannot account for are signs that the spiritual realm is interacting with your life in a disruptive way. And let me tell you, when it comes to spiritual matters, symptoms never lie. They reveal the truth your eyes cannot see. Some children and even adults find themselves performing acts that they don't remember consciously. Perhaps you have a dream or a vision or even an impulse to do something harmful or forbidden, and you cannot explain why. This is a sign that the spirit realm is communicating through you. It is subtle, but if ignored, it can shape the trajectory of your entire life. Another sign, and this is critical, is secrecy. If you feel the need to hide parts of your life, your thoughts, or your actions, there is a problem. Initiation into witchcraft often involves secrecy, the instruction to never tell anyone. It isolates you, and isolation is the tool through which darkness exerts power. Children, listen. Never be ashamed to speak to a trusted adult about anything that frightens or confuses you. Silence is a weapon that your enemy uses to entrap you. Many do not realize it, but a fascination with occult symbols, pentagrams, unusual jewelry, or talismans can also be signs of initiation. Wearing them, even as a fashion statement, opens the door to influence. And sometimes, the worst thing is that the person wearing them does not even know the spiritual implication. They are walking around as conduits for power they cannot control, and they have no idea that their freedom has been compromised. You must also pay attention to the voice of intuition. Every human being has a conscience. Every human being has an internal compass that guides them toward good and away from evil. When you feel uneasy about certain practices, certain games, or certain promises, do not ignore that feeling. That inner warning is a divine signal. Those who are initiated unknowingly often suppress it, ignore it, or rationalize it. And the result is a slow entanglement in darkness. I must warn you also about generational influence. Children born into families with occult traditions may unknowingly inherit spiritual ties. These are often disguised as cultural practices or family secrets. But the truth is, without proper spiritual guidance, these children can be initiated before they even have the capacity to understand the consequences. And that is why awareness, knowledge, and education are so vital. Some may argue, but I feel normal. Nothing unusual is happening. Let me assure you, the lack of obvious signs does not mean safety. Many initiates live for years without realizing the forces at work in their lives. That is the danger. It is hidden, subtle, and cunning. And that is why I am speaking to you today. Awareness is your first line of defense. Understanding your environment, your influences, and your own spiritual state is essential. Prayer, discernment, and guidance from trusted spiritual mentors are powerful tools to navigate this world. Knowledge empowers you to recognize signs before it is too late. The moment you acknowledge the possibility that something is affecting your life without your consent, you gain the power to act. And the moment you act, you regain your freedom. Finally, I want to say this. Do not allow fear to dominate you. Knowledge without fear is wisdom, but wisdom without action is useless. Take control of your life. Be aware of what you are exposed to. Question traditions, question games, question promises. Children, do not accept anything that demands secrecy, anything that makes you uncomfortable, anything that isolates you from those who truly love you. Remember, your life is precious. Your mind is sacred. Your spirit is a temple. Do not allow any unseen force to manipulate or claim what God has designed to be yours. Walk in awareness, walk in strength, and walk in spiritual clarity. Because those who are aware, those who recognize the signs, those who choose to act, are the ones who break free from the hidden chains before they become permanent. Your destiny is too important to leave in the hands of powers you cannot see and do not understand. Awareness, courage, and spiritual alignment are your weapons. Use them wisely. Guard your heart, your mind, and your spirit. Do not allow yourself or your children to be initiated without understanding. You must also understand that initiation often comes with subtle promises, power, popularity, protection, or even success. And who can resist such offers when they are presented as blessings? But let me tell you something. What appears as a blessing from the dark realm is a trap. It is a contract written in invisibility, a debt that will be claimed over time, often in ways that the initiate cannot foresee. Many people chase these rewards, thinking they are gaining, while in reality, they are being bound. Watch closely for compulsions. Do you notice urges to do things repeatedly without reason, to visit certain places, or to handle certain objects that feel special? That is the spirit realm seeking to control your actions. The subconscious becomes a field for manipulation, and before you know it, behaviors that once were foreign become normalized. You are living under influence, and without awareness, this influence grows stronger. Another indicator is emotional volatility. Sudden bursts of anger, sadness, or irrational fear that seem unprovoked can be signs that spiritual forces are at work. Initiation often opens doors to energies that are not aligned with your natural character, and these energies create chaos internally. The key is to observe patterns in your emotions and behavior. Are they consistent with your true self, or have they shifted mysteriously? Beware also of sudden talents or interests that seem unnatural. You might discover that you can do things others cannot, that you are drawn to practices that are considered forbidden, or that you are developing abilities beyond your comprehension. While some of these might seem harmless or even exciting, they are often markers of spiritual initiation. True power, God-given power, never coerces or manipulates. It comes with clarity, peace, and guidance. Isolation is a hallmark of initiation. If you feel disconnected from family, friends, or community, the S is a warning. The dark forces work best in isolation because it removes accountability. Children are particularly vulnerable because they rely on guidance. If someone pressures you to keep secrets, to practice alone, or to distrust those who care for you, they are opening a doorway to control your life. Do not underestimate the influence of peer pressure. Friends who introduce you to strange rituals, who normalize behavior that you intuitively know is wrong, are often instruments of spiritual manipulation. Remember, not all witches wear obvious symbols. Some operate through peer influence and social acceptance. The danger is that children can be recruited without realizing it, thinking they are simply fitting in. Pay attention to recurring dreams or visions. Initiation often leaves marks on the mind and spirit. You might dream of symbols, places, or people repeatedly. These dreams are not random. They are messages, often from the spirit world, alerting you to what is happening. Never dismiss your dreams. They can be a guiding light when your eyes cannot see. Another point I must emphasize is that initiation often begins subtly with language and knowledge. The way you speak, the stories you are told, the lessons you are taught can all be instruments to mold you. Children, be cautious of phrases like, "You are special," "You are chosen," or "Only you can do this." These statements, when tied to secret practices, are designed to create loyalty to forces that are not aligned with your true purpose. One more sign is a fascination with darkness, even in harmless forms. movies, books, or games that glorify evil, death, or manipulation. While entertainment can be harmless when it draws you in with obsession, it can serve as a gateway. It conditions your mind to accept behaviors and beliefs that are contrary to life, light, and virtue, the line between curiosity and Initiation is thinner than you think. Spiritual gifts are also markers. Some children may suddenly develop unusual skills, intuition, or sensitivity to energy. While some of these gifts can be God-given, others are a result of spiritual initiation. The key difference is clarity and alignment with goodness. True spiritual gifts do not frighten you or isolate you. They guide you to help, to heal, and to create. Finally, resistance is crucial. If you sense discomfort, fear, or moral conflict about certain practices, honor it. Your conscience is your spiritual compass. Initiation often works by suppressing that internal warning. Children, listen, never dismiss what makes you uncomfortable. Voice it, seek guidance, speak to someone you trust. There is no shame in protection. There is only peril in silence. Knowledge is power, awareness is protection, observation is defense. You must learn to recognize the signs before the entanglement deepens. Every dream, every compulsion, every secret, every fascination, every isolation, these are signals. And the moment you see them, the moment you name them, you take your power back. The enemy works invisibly, but he cannot work in the light. The moment you understand, the moment you awaken, the darkness loses its grip. Your spirit, your mind, your life is designed for freedom, not control. Do not allow ignorance to be your cage. Watch, listen, discern, and act. The path to spiritual clarity begins with knowledge, and it is sustained by courage and obedience to truth. Let me remind you, initiation is often disguised as something good, something desirable. It can come as a special gift, a talent you never asked for, or a promise that makes life easier. The enemy is cunning. He knows how to package darkness in the form of light. Children, do not fall for the illusion that being chosen or being special automatically means bless. True blessing aligns with goodness, clarity, and transparency, not secrecy, manipulation, and fear. Notice also how your choices are influenced. Do you find yourself drawn to actions that you know are wrong or that feel foreign to your nature? That tug, that silent pull, is not imagination. It is the influence of unseen forces attempting to shape your life. Initiation often begins subtly, molding thoughts and feelings until the person believes these urges are their own. This is why discernment is critical. You must train your mind to recognize the difference between your true self and the subtle manipulations of the spiritual realm. Many initiates experience confusion. They wonder why they feel compelled to lie, cheat, or manipulate, even when they value honesty. Or perhaps they feel an unexplained fear of family, friends, or spiritual leaders who are trying to guide them. This confusion is a direct consequence of being initiated without understanding. Darkness thrives in uncertainty and doubt, and the first step to freedom is clarity. You must be vigilant about peer influence. Friends who insist on secrecy, who glorify hidden rituals, or who pressure you into games that feel wrong are not just teasing or joking. They are instruments of initiation. And often, children think that compliance is harmless, believing it is just fun or a way to fit in. But every secret kept, every action taken under pressure is a thread weaving you into the unseen web of influence. Pay attention to recurring thoughts and dreams. When certain images, symbols, or instructions repeatedly appear in your mind, do not dismiss them. This is a language of the spirit world trying to communicate. Initiation often begins with mental influence before it manifests outwardly. Awareness of these signs is your shield. Ignorance is your vulnerability. Another subtle sign is fascination with objects or symbols of power, rings, necklaces, talismans, or even certain books. When an object draws you repeatedly and excites feelings you cannot explain, it is a warning. Initiation often uses these objects to create attachments and open gateways. What may seem like curiosity or interest is often a door opening to influence you cannot control. Isolation is another hallmark. If you find yourself withdrawing from family, friends, or mentors who have your best interest at heart, take notice. Secrecy and isolation are tools used to prevent guidance and accountability. The moment you are separated from those who can advise and protect you, influence grows unchecked. Children, never accept isolation as normal or necessary. Seek community, guidance, and wisdom from those who genuinely care. Unexplained talents or abilities can also be a sign. Suddenly being able to do things beyond your normal capacity, skills you cannot explain, can appear exciting at first. But if these talents come with fear, confusion, or secrecy, they are not gifts, they are hooks. True spiritual gifts bring joy, clarity, and responsibility, not anxiety and hidden pressure. Your conscience is your greatest guide. Every time you feel uneasy, scared, or conflicted about an action, word, or game, take note. That feeling is a divine warning. Initiation works by dulling or suppressing this internal compass. Ignoring your conscience allows influence to deepen. Listening to it, acting upon it, and speaking to a trusted mentor restores power. Finally, pay attention to patterns over time. Initiation is rarely instant. It creeps in gradually. Sudden changes in behavior, interests, emotions, or relationships, when coupled with secrecy and fear, are signals. They are indicators that your spiritual alignment is being influenced. Recognition of patterns allows you to intervene, to resist, and to reclaim your life. Children must also understand the power of choice. Even when initiated unknowingly, you have the ability to reject influence, seek guidance, and align with goodness. Awareness empowers resistance. Knowledge gives strength. Courage allows action. These three principles, awareness, knowledge, courage, form the foundation of spiritual protection. The enemy relies on ignorance, subtlety, and deception. When you begin to see signs, understand patterns, and recognize manipulations, the grip weakens. Remember, freedom is restored the moment you act in awareness. Every thought, every action, every dream, every symbol can be examined, questioned, and aligned with truth. The moment you reclaim understanding, you regain control. Unseen forces may be present, but they do not have to dominate. Your spirit, your mind, and your life were designed for freedom, clarity, and purpose. Every warning sign you recognize is a step toward liberation. Children, you are precious. You are not accidents. You are designed for greatness. Do not allow unseen influence to claim what belongs to you by design. You must also understand that initiation often comes with a subtle promise of identity. Sometimes children are told they are special, chosen, or different in ways that make them feel important. On the surface, it feels flattering. But the danger is that these statements are often hooks designed to create loyalty to forces that are not aligned with truth. The moment you accept that identity without question, you open a door to influence that can control your thoughts, emotions, and choices. Pay close attention to dreams and visions. Children, if you notice recurring images, people, or symbols that appear in your mind when you sleep or when you daydream, do not dismiss them as imagination. Initiation often leaves marks on the spirit, and dreams are one way the spiritual realm communicates. Patterns in these dreams are not random. They carry meaning, warnings, or instructions from forces that are either attempting to guide you toward darkness or test your discernment. Another sign is compulsive behavior. Perhaps you find yourself repeating certain actions over and over, touching objects, reciting words, or even performing rituals unconsciously. These compulsions are not just habits. They are markers of influence. The enemy often works through repetition, making unnatural behaviors seem normal. Children must learn to recognize these behaviors for what they are, signals of spiritual manipulation. Isolation is another key indicator. If you feel separated from your family, friends, or mentors who genuinely care for you, be alert. Secretive practices often thrive in isolation. When someone encourages you to keep secrets, to hide your actions, or to distrust those who love you, it is not harmless. Isolation gives the enemy space to work. Community, guidance, and accountability are antidotes to these schemes. Look at your emotions. Sudden mood swings, unprovoked anger, anxiety, or fear can be signs that initiation is taking root. Children, your emotions are powerful indicators of spiritual alignment. When you notice patterns of fear, confusion, or hostility, pay attention. These emotional disruptions are rarely accidental. They are attempts to destabilize you and make you vulnerable to influence. Fascination with objects, symbols, or stories that glorify darkness is another warning. Jewelry, books, movies, or games that focus on magic, occult practices, or forbidden knowledge can create attachments. What seems like harmless curiosity can subtly reshape your interests, desires, and identity. Children, never ignore the pull of fascination. If it causes discomfort or secrecy, it is a sign to step back and seek guidance. Unexplained talents or abilities can also be indicators. You might suddenly possess skills that others find remarkable, or you may feel unusually sensitive to energies around you. While some gifts are God-given, others are signs of initiation. The difference lies in the experience. God-given gifts bring peace, clarity, and joy. Influence from darkness brings confusion, fear, and secrecy. The power of choice is critical. Even when influenced or initiated unknowingly, you have the ability to resist, seek help, and align with goodness. Awareness alone empowers you to act. Knowledge gives you tools to recognize influence. Courage allows you to stand firm against manipulation. These three principles, awareness, knowledge, and courage, are essential for maintaining spiritual freedom. Children, remember this: the enemy operates through subtlety, deception, and ignorance. The moment you begin to see the signs, question practices, and seek guidance, the grip of influence weakens. Every thought, every dream, every feeling can be examined. Every pattern can be challenged. Every action can be aligned with truth. Do not underestimate the power of spiritual vigilance. The awareness of unseen influence is the first line of defense. Discernment protects the mind. Prayer strengthens the spirit. Guidance from trusted mentors provides clarity. When combined, these forces create a shield that no hidden power can penetrate. Even small steps matter. Question unusual instructions. Speak up about secrets you are asked to keep. Avoid practices that make you feel uneasy. Surround yourself with those who value truth, integrity, and transparency. Every conscious decision to resist influence restores your freedom. Notice the subtle pull of identity. When someone tells you that you are different, special, or chosen, ask questions. Investigate motives. True spiritual guidance aligns with light, clarity, and goodness. Any promise that comes with secrecy, manipulation, or fear is a signal to stop and seek help. Children, your life is sacred. Your mind is precious. Your spirit is designed for freedom and purpose. The enemy works invisibly, but knowledge and awareness expose hidden influence. Every warning sign is a tool for liberation, and every step toward clarity strengthens your spiritual foundation. You must also be aware of the subtle influence of peer pressure. Children, sometimes friends or classmates, introduce games, challenges, or secrets that seem harmless at first, but often these are disguised invitations to participate in practices that carry spiritual consequences. It begins with curiosity, then moves to participation, and before long, influence has taken root. Always ask yourself, does this activity align with goodness and truth, or does it make me feel uneasy, fearful, or secretive? Your feelings are a compass. Listen to them. Another sign is unusual attachments to objects or symbols. You might feel drawn to certain charms, pendants, or even books that seem special or powerful. These attachments can serve as channels for influence. What appears to be a simple fascination may be a spiritual hook. Children, remember, not everything that looks attractive or exciting is harmless. Be discerning about what you allow into your life, what you touch, and what you keep close to your heart. Notice also patterns of sudden talents or abilities. Sometimes children develop skills or instincts that feel unnatural or unearned. An unusual talent in drawing, speaking, predicting, or sensing things that others do not. While some abilities are gifts, others are signs of unseen initiation. True gifts bring peace, clarity, and joy without fear or secrecy. If a talent makes you feel confused, fearful, or isolated, it is a signal to examine it carefully and seek guidance. Pay attention to secrecy. Initiation into dark practices almost always involves instructions to keep things hidden. This may start with, "Don't tell anyone, it's our special secret," or "Others wouldn't understand." Secrecy isolates you and prevents guidance. Children, never accept secrecy as harmless. Always share what troubles or confuses you with a trusted adult. Silence is the tool through which influence grows strongest. Dreams and visions are another channel of communication. Recurring images, symbols, or messages that appear in your mind may indicate influence. These are not coincidences. Take note of patterns in your dreams. Ask for guidance when you do not understand them. Spiritual clarity grows when you confront what is happening instead of ignoring it. Emotional instability is another sign. You may experience sudden anger, anxiety, fear, or sadness without apparent reason. Initiation often disrupts natural emotional balance. Children, your feelings are indicators of spiritual alignment. Observe shifts in your emotions closely. If your inner peace is frequently disturbed, investigate. Why, and seek help from someone you trust. Awareness of identity is crucial. When someone tells you that you are special, chosen, or different, question it. Real guidance comes with transparency, clarity, and alignment with truth. Offers of power, prestige, or talent that come with secrecy or pressure are often traps. Children, do not be tempted by promises that seem too good to be true. Investigate, question, and seek counsel. Compulsive behaviors are another signal. Actions repeated unconsciously, thoughts that dominate your mind, or habits that feel irresistible may be the result of subtle influence. Children, observe your patterns closely. Compulsions are not always your own. They can be an indication that unseen forces are at work, guiding behavior in ways that are not aligned with your true purpose. Isolation from family, mentors, or community is a common tactic. Those who seek to manipulate often encourage secrecy and discourage connection. Children, staying connected to trusted adults and mentors is vital. Do not accept isolation as normal. Interaction with those who love you provides accountability, guidance, and protection. You must also examine media and entertainment. Sometimes fascination with certain movies, books, or games that glorify dark or forbidden practices can become an avenue for initiation. Curiosity alone can lead to attraction. Children, be discerning. If a story or game leaves you uneasy, fearful, or secretive, it is a signal to step back and seek guidance. Your inner compass, your conscience, is your strongest tool. Every time you feel uneasy, scared, or conflicted, pay attention. Initiation works by suppressing conscience, dulling your natural ability to discern right from wrong. Listening to your intuition, speaking up, and seeking guidance restores balance and protects you from influence. Spiritual vigilance is essential. Awareness, discernment, and courage are the foundation for protection. Children, every step toward understanding strengthens your spiritual shield. Question unusual instructions, speak about secrets, avoid uncomfortable practices, and surround yourself with those who value truth and integrity. Every conscious decision to resist influence restores freedom. Recognize subtle changes in behavior, interests, and relationships over time. Initiation rarely happens all at once. Observe patterns. Sudden shifts in morality, emotional responses, or social connections may indicate influence. Awareness of these patterns is the first step to reclaiming your life. Even when influence has begun, you retain power through choice. Choosing to resist, seek guidance, and align with goodness restores freedom. Awareness empowers, knowledge guides, and courage enables action. Children, these three principles, awareness, knowledge, and courage, are your spiritual tools to navigate unseen influence. The enemy works through subtlety, deception, and hidden agreements. But when you begin to recognize signs, question practices, and seek counsel, influence weakens. Every dream, every compulsion, every fascination, and every secret can be examined, understood, and redirected. Knowledge exposes deception. Courage restores control. Let me deliver this clearly and powerfully. Your life, your mind, your spirit is sacred. You were created for freedom, for purpose, for greatness, not for manipulation, secrecy, or control by forces you cannot see. Awareness is your first weapon. Knowledge is your second. Courage is your third. When you recognize the signs, question the influences, and choose to walk in truth, you reclaim what was always yours, your destiny, your clarity, and your power. Children, young people, listen carefully. Do not underestimate the subtle ways darkness. SS tries to influence your life. Do not accept secrecy, fascination with the forbidden, or feelings of fear and isolation as normal. Speak up, seek guidance, and align yourself with goodness. Your choices today determine your freedom tomorrow. Remember this, the enemy can work invisibly, but he cannot work where there is light, where there is understanding, and where there is courage. Stand firm. Guard your heart, your mind, and your spirit. Do not allow initiation, whether known or unknown, to define your life. Your life is too valuable, your spirit too precious, and your destiny too great to be compromised. Walk in awareness, act in knowledge, and live boldly in truth. That is how you remain free, strong, and unshakable in a world full of hidden influences.